go.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show. My name is Arius and today I am joined by the developer of a brand new indie game called Color Thief. Could you say the name of your studios?
Sure, so I'm Kat.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. Could you say the name of your studios?
Sure, so I'm Kat Musgrove and I work at Trouble Impact.
So would this be the first game you've worked on or at least released, or are there other ones we could also find?
Yeah, so as a studio, we've been around for about 4 years. Our first game that we made was like a kind of a mobile smartphone game called Amelia versus the Marathon. So that's available. It's kind of old, so I don't know if it's on all the platforms anymore, but but it was something else that we made. So.
All right, what was the inspiration for this game?
Sure. So Isam's background is as a graphics engineer, and there's sort of like an adage in game design, which is gameplay first, graphics second. And we were talking about that one day, and he was kind of like, well, are there any games where that's not the case? You know, like, are there any games where the graphics are part of the gameplay? And we were kind of brainstorming based on that, and we landed on this idea of color. And it's funny, because actually the initial version of the game was like an isometric stealth game. It was like completely different. But when we prototyped it, it really wasn't that interesting, so we ended up totally changing it to this.
What are some of the game mechanics? Could we get a rundown? I've obviously played it already,
yeah.
but you want to explain it to our audience?
Yeah, I'll give you kind of like the standard explanation of the game. So it's a third-person puzzle game where you play as a chameleon that can take color from anything and give color to anything in the world. And
Like that's kind of like Epic Mickey in a sense.
kind of. Except I know in Epic Mickey there's sort of like specific areas that you can interact with, and our deal is like literally anything you can touch, you can take color or give color to.
And I know I've already asked this, but for our audience, obviously the parallel I drew with that was the blob. How is this different from that?
Yeah, so in the blob, I think you're just coloring the world, right? So in this game, you're actually using color as a tool. So color is more of, it's in this magical world, it's an energy source.
Color isn't an objective, it's a tool.
Yeah, exactly, it's a tool. So you use it to, if you give it to plants, the plants grow, or if you take it away from water, the water becomes like a solid surface you can walk on. Or you can turn mechanical things on and off. So you kind of use that tool set to make your way through this abandoned temple.
Obviously the story is something we have to find for ourselves, but what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so I guess just the basic outline of the story is that you're a chameleon that lives in a totally black and white world. The only color left is in the sky. And you kind of stumble into this temple, and it's actually your first time ever seeing color as the chameleon. So it's like we have a cutscene where the first time you take color, it's like kind of surprised, you know, because it's pretty weird to like absorb color in your skin. So as you go through the temple, you get little hints about like what this temple is and maybe what it was used for. And eventually you'll travel to other temples in different parts of the world, and you'll learn over time like kind of what happened to the world and why it's missing color.
What engine is this running on? Is this one of your own design, or is it Unreal?
No, we're using Unity.
Unity? Yeah. Okay, cool. And where can we expect this to be released on?
Yeah, so it'll be on PC and Xbox One.
Okay, cool.
We're planning on releasing it probably like the middle of next year, sort of what we're aiming for. Although we do have a PC pre-order that's available right now on our website, which is colorthiefgame.com. And if you pre-order the game now, or I guess this week, you actually get a copy of the demo.
Would that be this coming week?
Yeah.
Today's Sunday. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. So we can actually put this up for our
time.
followers.
Cool.
Are you guys going to be launching through Steam as well?
Yeah,
okay.
We're not on Greenlight yet, but yeah, we'll definitely be on Steam.
Okay. And also, I want to cover the fact you guys are semi-finalists in the Reboot Game Awards, right?
Yeah.
What are your hopes for that? Do you hope to get place, or do you hope to get?
Oh, they already announced the finalists, and we're not a finalist.
You're not a finalist. Oh, but you were a semi-finalist.
Yeah.
Well, that's still good.
That was nice. It was a good feeling.
I mean, at least it's something to get recognized, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So again, this game is Color Thief. It comes hopefully coming out in the middle of next year. Be on the lookout for it. We will be trying to do a demo for our channel. We're definitely going to try to pre-order it because I've already played the demo for this game, and we will throw up some gameplay of it. It looks amazing. The graphics are great. I love the cartoonish effect of it. So yeah, I'm Arius with Gaming. I'm Arius with Gaming in Progress, joined by the developers of Color Thief.
Thanks.
All right, you mind if we get some footage of your game?
Oh, no, absolutely.
All right. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. My name is Arius and today I am joined by Thataway Studios, a developer that has been to Indy Pop Con before they were showing their new mobile app that was called Dotflow.
Yep.
It's a pretty fun game. I've had it on my phone ever since then. And now they are presenting their new game, Soul, The Lost Colony. So you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Soul is an exploration narrative game where you are a rover trying to figure out what happened to a group of colonists.
Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the basics of the game. You drive around, you find items, craft items, fix yourself up, solve some puzzles, and try and figure out what's going on.
By the, I already played the demo, of course. So by the two people that you talked to, the first one, could you tell us about each of those two?
The two characters?
Yes, the two voice characters.
Yeah, so you have Jennifer, who is a woman from Earth who ends up reactivating the rover and attempts to find out where her family is and what's happened to them. Her family's a small couple people that are on the planet. And then you have the artificial intelligence, dubbed Quinn, who talks to you and kind of persuades you to help him out. They both have similar goals, but their motives are very, very different.
Okay. What engine is this running?
The engine is Unity.
Okay. What are your expected platforms for release?
Steam and itch.io.
Itch.io?
Yep.
What about console? Just PC only?
For now, we've been focusing on PC. Porting the controls to console would be a little difficult at this phase, but it's still sort of in consideration.
I see. Actually ran out of questions for some reason. Got any Dakota?
Did you already ask what their expected release date was?
I have not. That's the question I need to ask.
So, part of why we're here, we're trying to get some feedback on whether people are really interested in playing. We don't want to spend a year or two developing if nobody's going to buy it.
Right.
If people are interested enough, we're hoping that within a year or two we'll be pushing out at least a beta.
Awesome.
We're hoping, if we continue the project, if we think that there's good enough reception that we want to continue, most likely we'll be having a Kickstarter late August to mid-September.
What was the inspiration for the story of this game?
For the story?
Oh, I guess for the game in general.
So we wanted to develop a game that didn't have a bipedal character. So essentially anything with two legs. We didn't want you to be like a human or an alien or anything like that. We wanted it to be from the perspective of something different, which is, so we started with the idea of a rover, and then we were kind of fumbling around with ideas like that. Do we want to do a game like terraforming a planet or, excuse me, something like that? And the game just kind of developed to where it's at now. It's been kind of a weird, process of just trial and error.
Cool, I think that's all the questions we have.
All right.
Arius with Gaming in Progress, joined by Thataway Studios. Come check them out.
Thanks for the interview, guys.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Arius, and today on Gaming in Progress, we are interviewing, I do not know your team is
Sleepy Owl Software is the company.
Sleepy Owl Software was the name, and we're interviewing him about Text Quest, his semi-finalist in the Reboot Indie Game Awards series game. So you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, so Text Quest is a first-person text-based adventure where everything in the world is made up of text. So wall is the word wall, grass is the word grass, and giant spiders say giant spider.
So instead of being just an actual typing text quest, like the old, I've forgotten the name, it's on
Zork.
Zork. It's actually visual.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea is that I like saying first-person text-based adventure because not many people understand what does that mean. And I just like to be, mean like that. But the idea is I'm trying to update the text-based genre and make it interesting for modern players. So, while Zork and King's Quest might be classics, they did not age well. So I'm trying to make it a lot more intuitive for people, a lot more interesting and fun to actually just type in the words and see what interactions you get.
What was the inspiration for this kind of game?
So I was part of a student game development group in college, and we always joked that we had very, very talented artists, but not enough to keep up with demand. So we said, well, we should just make a text-based adventure because that doesn't require any art. And it's like, well, why don't we actually do that? And how can we make text adventures fun? So I went home, thought about how to do that, and I came up with the idea of a world world where everything was text. And the idea was originally 2D, but I talked with a couple of coworkers about it, and over the course of a single lunch, we hammered out this idea of a 3D world and did all this stuff. And I went home and crammed for 2 days to get a proof of concept together so I could pitch it to the group. And it actually went over very well. Like, showed it off. The original demo is this very tiny little room that just has a bunch of like bricks and everything, and everyone just loved it.
What can you tell me about the story?
So the story, it's about as classic as you can get. You go to see the king, and before you can actually talk to him, a wizard shows up, turns him to stone, and runs away. So you have to chase the wizard and find a way to turn the king back into his normal form.
When's your expected release date for this, and what are your expected platforms?
So platforms are definitely going to be PC and Mac. I'm also dabbling with Linux to test that and make sure it runs properly. And expected release. I'm hoping for next year, but I'm doing all the development myself, so I'm doing all the art, all the programming, all the design, sound design, all that stuff. So it takes me a long time to do even a single level properly. So my goal is to be done by 2017. That would be nice in an ideal world.
What engine is this running off?
It's actually using Unity.
Really?
So
seems like a favorite choice for a lot of people.
well, it's really nice to get things up and running with Unity. So it's built in Unity. I built the parser myself, so all the inputs that you put in, like open door, slap fish against door, everything will work like that. The parser is mine.
Okay, cool. I think that's about all the questions I have. What about you, Dakota?
That's about it.
All right. This is Aries with Gaming in Progress, joined by Sleepy Owl Software. I should really learn the names of these people before I start interviews. And we'll be covering more at Indy Pop Con. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. My name is Aries, and today on Gaming in Progress we are with William Cheer. And we are talking about his finalist game in the Reboot Indie Games Awards, Manifold Gardens. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the game?
So Manifold Garden is a game that is a metaphor for the last 400 years of physics. Have you seen Inception?
Yes.
You know that scene where they fold Paris in half and start walking up a wall? So that's what you can do in the game. So you can go up to any surface and change gravity and make that your new orientation. And then you also discover that the world folds in on itself. Yeah.
Okay. What engine are you running on right now?
Unity.
What's the story right now?
So the narrative of the game is that you are a gardener bringing life to a barren world, and that world is the center of the universe.
So are you like a god, or?
Not quite. You start to discover that. It's not an explicit narrative.
So it's more of a discovery.
Yes.
Okay. What are your expected release? What's your game?
PC and PS4
Nice.
within the next 10 months.
So you're really quick. Wow.
Well, the game's been in development for 3.5 years.
Wow. So you've had a lot of time to perfect this.
I don't know about perfecting it, but a lot of time to refine it.
Well, then working on that, what have the challenges of making a game like this been?
Well, it takes away a lot of normal gaming conventions. So, for example, you don't have a constant y-axis, right? There's no objective up. You're kind of reinventing that. So there's a lot of level design techniques that work for other games that don't apply here.
Okay. Go to any questions?
I see you're at E3 this year. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was showing at E3 with Sony, and we got nominated for Best Puzzle Game there by IGN.
So you've got a lot of award nominations with this game.
I suppose so.
If I go back and watch the Sony E3 conference, am I going to see your game?
No, it wasn't in the press conference.
But just to be nominated by IGN and Reboot.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
So what are you expecting for the competition? Do you think you're going to win?
I don't know. There's some really great games here, so we'll see.
All right, well, it's an honor been interviewing with you.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely check out your game when it comes out. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. My name is Aries and today on Gaming in Progress we are interviewing AEIO Software and about their game, the Reboot Indie Game Awards finalist, Tumbleseed. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the game?
Yeah, so Tumbleseed is a game where you control a vine to balance a seed all the way up a mountain. It's a rolly roguelike, and so it's procedurally generated every time you die, it's a new mountain. There's all sorts of suits and powers that you get as you go, and that's pretty much it. You try to avoid dangers like holes and enemies and other types of things from the environment along the way, and try to get to the top.
Is there a story behind this, or is it just kind of like a for fun head joke?
Like a fiction or lore or
narrative
something?
or-
Yeah. So basically, the seed is sort of part of a vanguard, or we call it the vine guard, sort of defense mechanism of the mountain. And so there's an infection of these worms and evil creatures that are inside the mountain, creating all these holes and destroying the environment. So it's up to the seed to try and get to the top to heal the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
What engine are you currently running on?
This is all done in Unity.
Seems to be a popular choice right here.
Yes, great.
What is your expected release date?
We're looking at sometime in January.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, probably early 2017.
And what about your platforms? PC only, console?
It'll be PC, Mac, Steam, and then probably PS4, and perhaps some other consoles, but those are guaranteed sort of launch.
How old is your company, and how many other games have you made?
So my company is just me.
Okay.
And Benedict here is a programmer. We're working together, collaborating. He has his own company as well. So it's really just about Tumbleseed, the game.
Okay.
And I've been making games for about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you've got some experience.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you faced making this game?
We've been working on it for a couple years, full time, and it's been a very tough game to design because there's not many games like it. It's based on an old arcade cabinet called Ice Cold Beer, actually. It's from the 80s.
Really?
So it's like a physical arcade cabinet, and so we really liked that gameplay style, and we thought, well, we could make like a digital video game out of it. Like, people have procedural generation. It's different every time, and there's enemies, and that cabinet obviously doesn't have it because it's wood and metal. So we had to learn a lot about what this mechanic did, and game design wise, and like what was fun and what wasn't when we added systems to it. And that's been the biggest challenge. And it's only recently, in the last few months, that the game design sort of came together. So,
All right, well,
Yeah.
I wish you luck in the finals of
Great.
the Reboot Game Awards.
thanks.
This has been Arius with Gaming in Progress, and this is Tumbleseed. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is Arius, and today on Gaming in Progress, we are interviewing the developer of Hive Jump, and Graphite Lab was the name. I'm sorry. And it is one of the finalists of the Reboot Indie Game Awards. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your game?
Yeah, I'm Matt Donatelli. I'm the game designer on Hive Jump, and our studio Graphite Lab is in St. Louis, Missouri. Sorry, what was the question?
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your game?
So Hive Jump is a run and gun 2D platformer for 1 to 4 players. It has local co-op and online co-op for Steam, like PC, Mac, Linux on Steam, and we have a Wii U port coming later in the year, probably towards holiday. As well. So those are the 2 planned platforms right now. Looking forward to having players play with each other online on the PC one. And yeah.
When's the expected release date for this?
So we're coming to Steam Early Access July 20th. So that's just next month.
Really soon.
Yeah. It's launching with about like 80 to 85% of the content in the game, so it's like a full early access. We just need the community's help, play testing, finding bugs, testing out the net code, because doing multiplayer is pretty tough for an indie studio, and we need all the help testing that we can get. So we expect that to take a couple of months of just testing, polish, and putting in the last 20% of the content, and then with like a launch sometime in the fall.
What engine is it currently running on?
We're building in Unity 5.3.3, so it's a Unity engine game. Yep.
Seems like everybody here does. At least one Unreal game,
yeah.
everybody else is Unity.
Well, Unity is a great cross-platform engine. I mean, I know Unreal has that too, but I feel like Unity's 2D tools are a little bit more suited to a 2D game at this point, and we knew that. Yeah, we just knew that there were some multiplayer options as well within the Unity community and things like that. So we planned from that for the get-go.
So is it a story-based game, or is it just kind of like you immediately jump you in and just try to finish objectives, or what?
So the game will have a story mode at the full launch, in which you'll be hopping planets across the galaxy, taking them back from the aliens for humanity. But in the early access, we're just focusing on kind of on the arcade component of the game, which are these jumps where you go in as a team of Space Marines into subterranean alien hives and clear them out.
It kind of sounds a little bit like Halo.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of that kind of Space Marine action in there. All the action takes place like deep below ground. The deeper and deeper you go, the longer it takes to send Space Marines from the ship up in orbit down into the hive. So as you get deeper, it's going to get a lot harder, and it's got kind of like a roguelike-iness to it because there are procedurally generated levels, and there are special like bonuses you can find that buff you up as you progress down through the hive. Yeah, every game is different. We anticipate like a normal play session to be between half an hour and 45 minutes, about 9 levels, several different boss fights and ambush rooms and things like that. So we really want it to be a fun game that you can get a couple of your buddies together, even if it's just for an hour, and play one of these Hive Jumps and then come back to it later.
What are your hopes for the Reboot Awards? You looking to win, or you got a good chance?
I mean, we're really honored to be selected as one of the finalists and the Best Gameplay Award. You know, there are so many great indie games here. A lot of our buddies from St. Louis are here with their games as well, and we're just really honored to be among the selected, and certainly if we were to win one of the cash prizes, it would really help us along in development. So, you know, because we just want to put as many people as we can onto it full time to make it the best game it can possibly be. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been Aries with Gaming in Progress, joined by the developer of Hive Jump. It's been an honor.
Thank you very much.
And good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
But also get to network and develop their skills. The winner of today's awards will receive $10,000 that will go towards their development costs. First, we'll bring out last year's winner, Battle Chef Brigade.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, we made Hearthstone. I have no idea what we're supposed to say other than it was awesome that we won last year, I guess. And we're looking forward to seeing the 3 games this year all get longboards or skateboards. Yeah, thanks everyone, and you can check out our game on battlechefbrigade.com and Twitter at Battlechef Game. Thank you all very much for being here.
We have Thomas Marshall from Vision 3 Games, Cole Ludwig from Ball State University, and Greg Phillips for Plow Games.
Hello.
Hey everybody. Hello everyone. We had a lot of students here this year, and there was a really good competition, a lot of different diverse games, a lot of different styles of games, and a lot of people from all over the Midwest. And we're really excited about the games we saw, looked at, reviewed. We judged 6 hours, 7 hours yesterday, and met this morning, discussed on what games to win for second and third. And it was tough. It was tough to decide who was going to be the winners of this event. So what we're going to be doing here, first studio, there were finalists. Each finalist is going to explain about the game, talk about the game, one at a time. And then we're going to pick the winners after they're done presenting their games that they are finalists for. Okay? So I think Commanders first. Let's see if they're going to pull up real quick. Hold 1 second here. Hold on 1 second here. because of technical difficulties.
All right, our first finalist is A-E-I-O-Woo. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hello, hello. Cool, what's up everybody? I am Benedict Fritz, and this is Greg Woolwind, and we are making a game called Tumbleseed. We should have some gameplay footage up in a little bit, but before that, we can just talk a little bit about, oh, there it is. Hit play. And go. All right, so we are two independent game developers from Chicago, along with David Lasky, Joel Korlitz, and Jenna Blazevich. We are working on Tumbleseed. Tumbleseed is a 2D rolly roguelike. It is a game where you are a vine rolling a seed up a mountain. The mountain is procedurally generated, so every time you play, it's different, sort of in the vein of Spelunky, Binding of Isaac, and other classic games like that. And yeah, so as you're going up this mountain, there's basically all these different power-ups that you get. There's different enemies, that sort of thing. And maybe one day you'll play the game. Hey! So as you can see, at the start of the game, you kind of start off at the bottom of the mountain in the forest. And you're this little pink seed here, you got this vine along the bottom. On the left you got a mineral count, and on the right you've got your heart count. Right there we just picked up a mineral, and here you can see some of the different suits that you have. So this is basically how you interact with the game and interact with the world, is through these different suit powers. Right now we've switched to the thorn suit, and right there as we roll over that fertile soil, we now have a thorn spinning around us. And as we run it, plants basically an enemy right there, it drops a mineral and dies. So the reason why you need minerals is that so you can plant things. So as you plant things, a mineral flies from the mineral counter on the left side and gives you a power corresponding with the suit that you're wearing. So the story of the game is basically you are part of this group called the Vine Guard, and it's very mysterious, and there will be lots of secrets in the game where we slowly unveil this story to you. And basically you're using this Vine Guard power to try to restore order to this mountain that's kind of become overrun by all of these worms and vermin and other creatures like that, which you kind of see creeping and crawling around the screen. So up there in the center of the screen, you see a little diamond-shaped hole. That is what we call right now a crystal room. These are kind of little nooks where the Vine Guard has kind of been in the past. And in these rooms there are more power-ups. So you can see there were two options, and kind of in classic roguelike style, you pick one of them. And we picked star power. And so some suits you need to plant multiple times. You can see that there's a star slowly filling up, and as we plant the third time, we get a star power aura around us. And now we can kind of wreak havoc on the enemies, running over them and collecting their minerals. And you're also invulnerable to spikes and things like that as you have this power. And so the game kind of builds on these basics where this rolling mechanic is always happening, and it's actually much harder than it looks in this trailer. It's been great this PopCon to have all these people come by our booth and see who picks it up, who doesn't, what we can do to help people learn it better. And yeah, so it's basically this rolling mechanic is so kind of this core, and we keep adding things on top of it and see if your brain can kind of keep up and still manage to move successfully and dodge holes and dodge enemies while kind of giving more and more information and stimulus and power-ups and things like that. So as you can see here, this is, Greg was playing earlier, he recorded a little bit of footage, and he starts kind of botching a little bit here. We got a flying enemy coming down, he gets in
I'm
there.
much better than this. I can usually get to the top.
So yeah, and this is just the forest. There are 4 other zones in the game. There is the forest, the jungle, the desert, the snow, and then maybe some more secrets that you'll find out upon release. So you can see there are the 4 biomes, and this is the trailer for Battle Chef, which is not our game. And that is...
We love Battle Chef.
Yeah, Battle Chef is number 1.
Give it up for Battle Chef.
Thank you so much, and thanks to all the judges for giving us this opportunity, and thanks to PopCon. Oh, I think we're going to do some Q&A.
We just want to do a little bit of Q&A with these guys. And, so how long have you been developing the game? How long?
We've been working on it for about 2 years, since like October of 2014. Yeah.
All self-funded, or is it?
Yeah. Yep. We're gonna make it hopefully without Kickstarter, but scraping near the runway.
And what's the goals? I mean, you trying to launch into this year, next year?
We're looking at early 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what platforms?
PC, Mac, Steam, and perhaps PS4. Most likely PS4. Maybe some other consoles. We'll see how it goes the next 6 months.
And you guys are based in Chicago? Chicago?
Yeah, we're out of Chicago.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. What was the biggest challenge that your team faced while developing the game?
Probably designing it. I don't know how many iterations we went through, probably over a dozen game design systems and iterations. At one point it was a survival arcade game, at another point it was sort of a Zelda-like dungeon crawler. And so we've really been searching around, and only within the last 3 months or so we've solidified the design, and we're really happy with sort of the randomly generated roguelike situation that we have, and how it's different every time, and sort of the really interesting choices that come out of what suit are you going to plant, and where, and when, and in what situation. So, yeah.
It looks really great. What is the sort of next step for you guys if you wanted to keep developing with this, and are you going to plan to go to different platforms or extra levels or anything like that? Or are you happy where it's at?
Oh, well, this is pretty much an alpha, like a late alpha build. We have a lot more plans for secrets and more enemies and more types of seeds that you can pick up, and kind of pumping up the art a little bit more and making it a little bit more of a place with like a soul, and there'd be like seeds that kind of talk to you, and kind of like a little village in parts of it. So yeah, there's more to do, but we feel like we have a good core, and been working hard on the tutorial and getting people into the game easily. So now we're feeling pretty good about just building it out. So that's kind of the next step. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, next up we have Graphic Lab with their game Hive Jump.
Hello, Indianapolis. Hi, I'm Matt Donatelli. I'm a game designer at a studio called Graphite Lab, based out of St. Louis, Missouri. And our game Hive Jump is a game about a bunch of space marines going deep down underground into subterranean alien hives and clearing them out and making planets safe for humanity again. It's a 1 to 4 player 2D run and gun shooter inspired by classics like Contra and Metroid, with a thoroughly kind of modern twist on all of that, with some roguelike elements and procedurally generated levels. And the whole thing is multiplayer, both local co-op and online multiplayer through Steam. So we're really excited to kind of show you the trailer today. We're launching on Steam Early Access July 20th, and I'll be doing questions after this as well.
and the music's done by Big Giant Circles.
I know we have a couple questions for you, judges, and talk about your game. I guess you've been developing this game for how long? How many years?
We've been working on this game for about 2.5 years now. We began in November 2013, ended up kickstarting it in September 2014 successfully, and have been working on it for almost 2 years since then. And we're coming to early access July 20th.
How big's your dev team?
Our whole studio is about 10 people, but we don't all get to work on the game full time. We do a lot of contract work for hire work, making mobile apps and games for kids. And then when we get the time, we work on Hive Jump. So it's our passion project.
That's awesome. That's great.
Why multiplayer?
So the whole basis for creating this game was that back in 2013 we felt like there aren't enough good co-op games out there for people to play together, and it's 3 years later and we still kind of feel like that's the case. So we're glad that we're going to be releasing this into the wild soon so players can enjoy it with their friends, and the whole kind of game loop is structured around 30 to 45 minutes of play at a time. So we know it's hard, as you get older as a gamer to like get all your friends together and find time to do that. So we're just excited to be putting something out there for gamers like that.
Are there any options for network play in the future?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. All the networking for PC, Mac, and Linux is done through Steam, so you can invite your Steam friends into the game with you and play that way, or you can even matchmake with other random people online. So it's all online multiplayer for Steam. You can also do local co-op on one machine. Yeah.
It looks great. Looks like something I'd want to, invite my buddies over and just spend a weekend just knocking out. So how much, you said you were dividing it up into like 30 and 45 minute segments. How long is the total game? How long can you play it for total to get to the end and all that stuff?
Yeah, due to the randomly generated natures of the levels and how that works, you can really play many, many times before you see all the things in the game. There's a lot of different types of activities as you're working your way down the Hive. So you kind of run through these levels, taking out alien egg rooms, collecting the goo, and you use that goo to upgrade your arsenal. And now your arsenal actually persists from mission to mission, so as you unlock that stuff, eventually you're going to completely unlock all the arsenal, which is great. But then there's also per run bonuses, so there are these challenge rooms that you come across, and you only have one life to get to the end, and if you do, you get a relic chest with a treasure in it that'll help give you a buff for that particular run. And those things can be things like more player health, or there can even be buffs that are kind of negative, like you get more dark levels where everything is pitch black and you kind of have to like shoot your way through. So yeah, it'll make each playthrough very different from the last.
And just one last question. You said Steam. Any plans to port to any consoles or anything like that in the future?
Yes, as part of our Kickstarter, we promised a Wii U port, which will be coming in holiday 2016, and then based on how well, the PC version or PC Mac Linux version on Steam and the Wii U version does, we're of course open to porting to other consoles in the future, like 2017.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And our last finalist, we have William Cheer Production with Manifold Garden.
Hi everyone, so my name is William Cheer and I'm the developer of Manifold Garden. So Manifold Garden, if you've seen the film Inception, you might remember that scene where they fold Paris in half and start changing gravity. So the game was inspired by that scene, so you can walk up to any wall in the game and rotate gravity, and you can walk on walls and ceilings. We're just waiting for the video to start. So the game is heavily inspired by architecture and the works of M.C. Escher. And so you can see we have this edge detection that's inspired by architectural renderings. So you can pick up boxes in the game which will light up different objects. So this is a level that's about 3 hours into the game. So you can see I go up to the surface and I change gravity. And whatever surface is colored, that's my down at the moment. So you can see a lot of it takes place in outdoor structures that repeat infinitely. So when you fall off the world, there's no death, the screen doesn't fade to black. Instead, there's another version of the world beneath you. It's sort of like when you stand between two mirrors, you can see sort of infinite repetitions. Imagine being able to walk into the mirror. So I've been working on the game for about 3.5 years now. It's coming out for PC and PlayStation 4. And we don't have a set release date yet, but we're hoping to finish it within the next 12 months. So yeah, as you can see, the geometry of the entire level starts to change based on your player position. It's a very, I see the game as a metaphor for the last 400 years of physics, because you, like Newton, start off learning about gravity in this game, and then by the time you sort of have to do these experiments and figure out the rules, and by the end you're thinking about the shape of the world itself. So it's an exploration of physics, architecture, geometry, math, and the origins of the universe. So, yeah.
We have a couple questions for you real quick. I know that you answered some of them already, but how big's your dev team? Your development team, how big is it?
So I worked on the game alone for about 2.5, 3 years. And then last year I got backed by Indy Fund and was able to bring on some contractors to help me. 3 weeks ago I hired a full-time programmer basically for this last home stretch. So we're now, it was mostly a team of one and now we're a team of two.
And how did you come up with this style of art for the game? Where did it come from?
So it took a lot of iterating. At first I wanted it to look like MC Escher prints. So it was like having a sketch look. The problem is that a lot of the rendering is drawn real time, so every frame, and it just got too distracting. So we limited it to just the edges, and so that's a custom post-processing shader that I've been working on and refining and tuning for 2 years now.
How different is the final concept from your original concept?
Huge difference. So originally the game was called Relativity because it's based on that MC Escher print Relativity, and originally you could never go outside. It was just based on the wall walking. But what happened was players wanted, you could pick up these boxes and players wanted shadows underneath the box so they could see where it was going to land. So I added a light source, and then players said, where's the light coming from? So I added a window. And because of the window, players were able to see the outside environment, and everybody said the outside looked way more interesting. So I decided to allow people to go outside, which introduced the problem of players falling off. And originally I would just have the screen fade to black when you fell off, but it just became more interesting to have the world wrap around. Because one of my favorite things in games is when you see a mountain in the distance and you can actually go there. So I don't like invisible colliders, and by having the world wrap around, I can have objects in the distance that you can still get to without creating more geometry.
Yeah. How did you go about playtesting methods? Did you have a focus group, or did you send this out to communities?
So I just went to a lot of conventions. I think since the start of this game, I've been to about 20 conventions, and I've watched about 1,000 people playtest the game. So I'm now, the first hour is very much refined, and I'm now at a stage where I'm having a closed beta group because I'm testing for the middle, late stages of the game, and I can't be standing at cons watching people play for 3-4 hours. Though this time at Indy Pop Con, I had a few people play for 2 hours, which gave me a lot of useful data.
Yeah, it's certainly one of the most unique games we've seen here. We saw a ton of very unique games during this whole con, and it was amazing seeing them all, but this was just blowing my mind with the concept. Do you have plans for release yet, or?
So we are getting close, so I'm starting to set up a Steam store page, which will go live next month, and we are also starting to figure out our QA processing pipeline. So when I send out builds of the game, if people find a bug, they can hit a hotkey and they'll take a screenshot and email us the bug report in a way that's easy for us to manage. So we have 95% of the mechanics in the game now. Some of them still have some bugs where we're basically at that point where we are just working on the ending of the game and figuring out a good way to QA and bug test. So it's all the stuff that you'd be doing near the end. I think people talk about game development as having the first 90% and the second 90%. I don't think we're in the second 90% yet, but we're almost done with the first 90%. So exciting.
Yeah, excellent. Looks very exciting. And looking forward to seeing it in stores, so or in the Steam store. So thanks very much.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to take a little overlap here on, we have some mentions. We have other categories such as best art, gameplay, and sound. There's one award that we're going to have some people come up with Gravity Drive. That was a sponsored component, and they're going to come up and announce that to one of the developers here in the audience. But I want to just go through this real quick. I know that Graphic Labs had best gameplay for Hive Jump, and Mid-Boss, which is out here somewhere, is going to stand up. Is Mid-Boss out there? Mid-Boss, no, they're not. They won best sound. They did a really good job of doing sound within their game with 2064. read-only memories. And they all did a really good job of the components they had in the game. It was like really, really nice to see some of the other categories that they're just mentioned. So I'm going to bring up Gravity Drive up here right now, and up here and talk about the one they chose for user experience, and we're going to bring that up.
Hi everyone, my name is Mike Vizardino, founder of Gravity Drive, longtime gamer, and just got back here from Origins Game Fair just in time for the award ceremony. This is something very special to us. We got contacted by, Sean, Indy Pop Con, talking about how can we get involved in this. Basically, pop culture, gaming especially, is something we're very passionate about. Even though our day job, we mostly work on medical labs, scientific, engineering, pretty much anything and everything. However, a lot of us actually have a lot of experience in the gaming industry, pretty much a little bit over 20 years now. And being a part of this, one of the things that we want to help game developers with is thinking about the player experience. And this is something that I've noticed for many, many years of doing computer games, tabletop games, miniature games, you name it, is that one of the key ingredients in a successful game is figuring out how do I get to repeat playability. A lot of people put together beautiful games, but will people engage the game over and over and want to keep playing it, or do they just throw it away or give it to somebody else? So one of the things we did is we put together an analysis to help come up with the best player experience. And I'm going to have one of my employees, Susie Shapiro, speak to you about that, what she did to grade the game developers on their projects. And she really gave them a pretty heavy research and question period. So Susie, if you'd like to talk a little bit about what you did.
Hello. We had a very limited amount of time to learn about the games that were here, which was really too bad because they were wonderful and they were very fun. But we were looking for something in particular, as well as some characteristics that would support long-term play. If you can't get into a game and get started, you're not going to continue to play it. You're going to quit. And so one of the things that we were looking for is the idea that people can start on the game. They don't have to have a hand holding somebody standing there saying, no, you push this button. And so we were looking for things like really clear instructions, being able to actually read the instructions, being able to start playing without a lot of elaborate descriptions, just being able to kind of go, oh, it must work this way. So getting people into the game so that they have an opportunity to develop their expertise with the challenges of the game, not the challenges of trying to use the game. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Hi guys, thanks so much. I don't know if they're going to play a trailer in a moment. Hopefully. But thank you so much for offering this award to us and for giving us this opportunity. We really appreciate it.
Nope, thanks. Okay. Well, yeah, sure. Quench is a game where you control weather. We wanted to make something that was really accessible for any level of gamer experience. A big thing at our company is to be able to draw in people to the games industry, to games in general that maybe have no background at all. Okay, so we have our trailer now. That's nice. And so, yeah, it's really a big, important thing to us that we can bring games to new people, to new markets that, maybe have no experience at all with them as it is and don't consider themselves gamers. We want to open the fold to everybody.
in user experience, we have in the past brought in focus groups to actually come in and play the game. We usually give them like a questionnaire of things. We kind of watch them play from afar, and then we ask them questions after, and we kind of see where the pain points were. Coming to conferences like this is actually a really good way to get some of that information. So we were actually demoing 2 brand new levels at Indy Pop Con, which was really great to see how people were engaging with them and playing with them. And we've been taking notes all weekend to kind of see how that's going, and we're going to go back and improve things. So it's always like an iterative process that we've been going through for quite a while now. We've been in development for a year and a half, and we probably have another 6 to 8 months to go. So the trailer was up there. It didn't have sound, but that was our Kickstarter trailer. We were actually just on Kickstarter last month, and we were successfully funded, so that was pretty cool for us as well.
And one last thing is I should give some thanks to Indy Pop Con, because this kind of event is absolutely fantastic for us, and being able to do playtesting with all kinds of players, not just those that we could get to come in when we ask to playtest. You get kids, you get any experience level, and that's like a totally fantastic experience for us.
The judges spent hours and hours of deciding. They have chosen 3rd place is Tumbleseed. So if Tumbleseed would come up. It's hard because all these guys are playing games, and they're all worthy, right? They're all doing great games and a lot of great art. Number 2 was a hard one, but it's going to be 2nd place for the Reboot 2016 Awards is William with Manifold Garden. What's ironic about this, last year, 2015, he won 2nd last year. So, after kicking it back and forth with art people and game people and watching from afar, from user people playing the game and enjoying the game, 1st place is Graphic Labs Hive Jump. So come on up, guys. It was tough, but after watching all the people play the game today and yesterday and the day before, the fan base, everyone love that game, and a lot of judges picked those guys out, and here they are.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Indy Pop Con. Thank you, Indianapolis. The team is going to be just so thrilled. We really appreciate the support.
Thanks for everybody's help, and hopefully next year we'll have 50 studios and $50,000. We'll be able to support the other sponsors like audio and art and other categories, like the Gravity Drive came forward with their kind donation for that award. So again, thanks everybody for helping out, and we'll see you next year. Okay, thanks.